Greetings, friends. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Let's Get Gritty podcast with yours truly, Dr. India White. I am thrilled to be here. Welcome if this is your first time. Thanks for joining us. I hope that you guys are having a safe day, a wonderful day. We are wrapping up the school year for us educators out there. So I know that we're finalizing grades, finalizing the quarter. We're looking at what's going on next year. We're looking at teacher assignments. We're looking at graduation rates. There's so much going on, and I wish all of you the best. I hope that you're able to really, work with your students, give them second, third, fourth chances, help them to cross the finish line strong and successful. With that said, I am now going to cross over and start making some announcements for you guys. So first things first, the Let's Get Gritty podcast with Dr. India White will be featured on Swain Girl Media and also on Spotify. So you can check those two areas out and check this out. Thank you to those that have followed, those that have subscribed. It'll also be on all of the social media platforms behind me. And so, speaking of social media platforms, I would love for you guys to follow me if you get a chance. If you have not already, my Facebook is Miss India White. LinkedIn is The India White. Twitter is Indie Speak and Teach. Instagram is Indie238. YouTube channels India White 123, and my TikTok is Dr. India White. Also, I wanted to remind you guys of the new Grit mini workshop that was just launched on the Grassroots Workshops website. Go there and check it out. It's called How to Harness Grit to Help Students Thrive. So really cool opportunity there. So thankful for that tribe and all those rock stars there. Please support their platform. I also wanted to remind you guys of some upcoming events I have going on. Wisconsin is coming up, doing keynote featured sessions, whatever, and also a CAMPS conference in July in Texas. I will see you guys there. So please show some love. I'm ready to mingle with you. Thank you for everyone that has supported the work on Grit, supported the Grit framework, that's bought the workbook, that's bought the mini workshop, that's checked these things out, that's checked out my website, and checked out the different blogs and things on there. Speaking of the website, please take a moment and visit it, share it with a friend, www.india-white.com for books, blogs, and you can also schedule me for an event, whether it's a conference or to speak for your district or whatnot. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I also wanted to just kind of pivot the show a little bit. I want to talk about just in general, when you're using Grit and how to use Grit to help you with gratitude. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because I think so many times, we get caught up in life. And so it's so easy to forget where we came from. It's easy to forget the great doors that are opening. I mean, speaking of new doors opening, I'm honored to join the Savvis Learning Team, used to be known as Pearson. I'm joining that team as an author. Thank you, Savvis, and the leaders there. But getting back to what I was saying, having a gritty attitude or for gratitude, I think it's imperative because sometimes, life hits us all, right? And then we just don't know how to bounce back. I literally went through this myself. I'll share for you a little bit of what I'm talking about, since you guys are like my audience and you guys are great. Let me show you. So my reality today, or this week, this was me. I was in a unfortunate car crash. It was a hit and run. Thank goodness we were able to track down the person and the information. I am recovering from this situation, so thank you to the love and support. But I'm going to tell you, when I went through this, it was very shaky, very troubling, and there was a temptation to kind of just lollygag and feel a little bit, overwhelmed, depressed, and to just kind of get in a rut. But then I remembered to be grateful. And the reason why it got so weird for me as well is because it happened around the time of the anniversary of my grandmother's passing away. Both of my grandmothers passed away on April 17th. So to know that I was kind of like in a situation where it was like a hit and run, and it could have been a head-on collision. it really made me stop and pause and realize that sometimes we have to stop and smell the roses and to be grateful that we woke up this morning, and that we have another chance at life, that you guys are, for instance, we're able to stream online and, see each other, check each other out and support each other's work, and, to just spread good love and joy in the world. And so I want to encourage you, no matter how gritty you're being and how much resilience you're having in that set amount of time, to be grateful that you have the opportunity to be gritty, that you have the opportunity to take advantage of of different opportunities and things that are going to come on your plate. Because I'm telling you, you're going to need that gratitude to get you through and help you to persist when life hits you like a ton of bricks. So I wanted to check out gratitude just in general, and I wanted to check out how grit affects gratitude as well. So I was able to dig and find some things for us. So first off, let's first talk about gratitude. So I found this cool article here on gratitude and how to practice it. And it's saying it's important for us to be grateful for the things that we have. It's important that we have to be grateful for the things that we have. So if you're teaching students, be grateful for every single one of those students. They're the reason why you're able to fulfill your destiny and your purpose. If you're an administrator, be grateful for those teachers on your campus. They're doing their best. If you're a superintendent, a district leader, be grateful for the principals and for the leaders. Be grateful for the community support. Be grateful for the school board members. If you're a school board member, be grateful for the parents and the community involvement. For all of us, be grateful for those wonderful philanthropists that could have kept their money. They could have been stingy, but they decided, they wanted to give back and to contribute, whether it's in education or the medical field or whatnot. Thank you to everyone. And we have to practice gratitude. And so let's keep reading this article. So it says here, it's going to tell us what gratitude is. And I think this is so imperative as we're finishing up the school year in education. So it says it's a positive emotion that involves being grateful and appreciative, and is associated with several mental and physical health benefits. And so sometimes we do have to slow down enough and to just pause and say, when was the last time I was really grateful for people that I know in my space? Take a moment and journal out who am I grateful for today? Who am I grateful for just in general? Am I grateful for that opportunity I just got? Am I grateful for the opportunities that are down the road? And so let's keep reading. So when you experience gratitude, you feel grateful for something or someone in your life, and you respond with feelings of kindness, warmth, and other forms of generosity. So generally speaking, it says gratitude, it involves recognizing that something good has happened to you. So for me, I'm still here. I'm thankful that I wasn't taken out of here through that car crash. And then it says here, it also consists of acknowledging that someone is responsible for it, whether it's a specific person in your life or an impersonal source like nature or a divine entity. So for mine, I'll claim a divine entity. Feelings of gratitude, they often emerge spontaneously in the moment. And then they say here, the evidence suggests that consciously cultivating such thankfulness can have mental health benefits. So just being thankful can help you with gratitude. And that also is that ties in with that optimism, that ties in with, having enough optimism and a good, good amount of passion so that you can go on and be gritty about your day. So now it says signs of gratitude. What does gratitude look like? Again, what does gratitude look like? How do you know if you're experiencing a sense of gratitude? And so expressing your appreciation and thanks for what could have happened in a number of different ways. It might look like a couple of these options here. Look at here. Look at these. You could spend a few moments thinking about the things in your life, right, that you're generally grateful for. You can stop to observe and acknowledge the beauty of wonder of something that you'll encounter in your daily life. So if you're walking, you see flowers or that nice Lamborghini that drove by you, whatever, just be grateful for it. Be thankful for your health, right? It could be worse. It could be worse. Thanking someone, right? I think that's one thing we should focus on. When's the last time we actually thanked someone? You know what I mean? For something they did, or the influence that they have in our lives. Why do we wait till that person's gone? Like sometimes we wait till the people have left us, or they're they've passed away or something, to really pour out that love. I think we need to do more of letting people know, today, of how grateful we are of them. And I'm grateful for every single one of y'all, especially those that have been with me since day one. You've been with me for several years. I love every single one of you guys. You're amazing. Mwah. Thank you. All right, next. Doing something kind for another person to show that you are grateful. I think this is very key, especially in the classroom as an educator. You can write a kind note to every single one of your students. I used to do this thing where I used to go around and I used to go to every single student. Feel free to steal this idea. I used to go to every single student desk and thank that student for showing up, and then tell them something that I was thankful for regarding them, something that I was grateful for, not just, something just generic or whatever. Like I went into depth, into detail. And sometimes, it brought the babies to tears because they could feel the love in the room. But it really strengthened our relationships, especially when you're starting to wrap up the school year and, you're counting the days or cleaning up the classroom and things like that. It doesn't hurt to show that gratitude and to love those kids a little bit. All right, next, paying attention to the small things in your life that bring you joy and peace. So whether that's like a succulent plant, whether that's an orchid, whether that's that ice cream that you got from McDonald's that one day, whether that's a smoothie, whether that's a person going to the beach, whether it's like the way your kids laugh, if you are a parent or guardian, maybe it's a smile of a significant other. Those are different things that can bring you joy and peace. And then it says here, meditation or prayer focused on giving thanks. Nothing greater than having those positive, quiet moments. All right, so it says, how often do you experience gratitude? So it says, do you feel like you have a lot to be thankful for in your life? Now listen, this right here is very real. Sometimes you can get bombarded by life, and you can be in a season where it's very tense and stressful. It seems a little bit cold and icy. And so sometimes you're like, I just don't know. I'm just like kind of in the swing of things and just juggling everything and just feeling overwhelmed. But I want to challenge you to take a moment and write down 10 things that you're thankful for. Even if you're thankful that you can see the sun. Like if you're up north and you're like, oh my God, we saw a glimpse of the sun today. I was in Minnesota and they were talking to me about, oh, you should be so thankful, Dr. White. The weather is amazing. Last year we were shoveling snow and doing all this snow stuff, right? Which I have no type of relevance, no kind of correlation. We don't deal with that in Florida. So it was hard to kind of envision that, but I understood where they were coming from. And they were talking about how they were so grateful for the good weather, which, was like 40 degrees. And so, hey, I was grateful for them. I was just so happy to see how happy they were and how their faces lit up, and how just that 40-degree weather up north right now is a beautiful thing for them. And I just wanted to celebrate with them. And, I was glad I was able to bring maybe some sunshine from the Sunshine State, but, just being thankful for those things, and sometimes we have to just slow down and just see we are blessed. We have a lot to be thankful for. And then, as an educator, just being able to teach each of these students and mold them into wonderful citizens of society and beyond is something to definitely see as a priceless opportunity and something we can always be thankful for. And so here it says, if you've made a list of all the things that you're grateful for, what would that list be very long? And if it's not long, that's fine. Add on to it throughout the day. I would highly recommend you as educators to do that as well. It says, when you look at the world, you can find many great things to be grateful for, right? It talks about, do you experience moments where you appreciate someone or something? So do you really slow down enough to appreciate it? And do you show expression towards appreciating those things or those people? It says, do you appreciate a wide variety of people in your life? I love just dealing with so many different people, and I'm so thankful. They even have a little article here. I love that, by Kong et al. And it talks about an evaluation of the gratitude questionnaire and Chinese sample of adults. Beautiful. If you guys want to check that out later. And then it says there's ways that we can work on our gratitude. So there's different types of gratitude. So, there's five personality traits: conscientiousness, agreeableness, and extroversion, right? Which I think I have a little bit of extroversion. And then it talks about as a mood, which means this can also fluctuate over time when you're being grateful and having gratitude. It says people might experience periods where they feel more grateful in general, and other times they may experience this less often. That's if you have that mood of being grateful. Sometimes, you have a greater period of gratefulness in school, when, the grades are done, you guys are doing a pep rally, everything's good, your kids are passing, you got the scores back, they did phenomenal, lots of 4s and 5s, whatever it is. It could be a mood of gratefulness, right? And it also can be an emotion. So here it's saying that you might have a particular experience that inspires those feelings of gratitude, like I just described with you guys. So how then can we practice gratitude? So here are some things. We can observe the moment, right? Take a moment, focus on how we're feeling. It says take stock of your senses and think about what's helping you to cope, right? How are you managing your stress? How are you feeling good about your life? And I'm telling you, if you remember that life comes in ups and downs, this is so imperative. And this is so critical to have resilience when you realize that you have to bounce back, because you will have those down moments. You will have those moments of rejection, those moments of disappointment, those moments of heartbreak, those shocking moments that come out of nowhere. But that does not mean that life is over. That just means that you have to observe that moment and see how can you repackage that. It talks about the practice of mindfulness, being more present and aware of your moments. Then it says, if you're trying to practice that gratitude, then write it down. Write down what you're thankful for. Then savor the moment. This is huge. Really enjoy the moment. Have you ever traveled and, you've just been somewhere and you're seeing the view? And sometimes it's so tempting to go, oh, well, I got to get to that. I got to get to that. Well, slow down enough to really enjoy that moment and be grateful. I had the honor to be to Utah, and I was able to see, the white mountains, the snow on top of the mountains. And, it was really neat. I thought it was sand on top of there because I wasn't used to that. So I was asking how the sand got up there, and, the teachers chuckled at me, of course. So, but I was grateful. I was grateful to have that moment and that experience. So we have to enjoy the moment. And then it says here, concentrate on sensations and emotions that you're experiencing in a given moment and think about those things that you really appreciate. It talks about, creating different meditations, giving thanks. That's another thing that we can do, because it's imperative to really give thanks. I tell you, that's just beautiful energy. So, I can go on and on with that article. It was very beautiful. But I think it's just a reminder of all of us to really be grateful, but also being gritty. So to have a gritty gratitude, and when I say gritty gratitude, I think of, for instance, maybe you hit a bump in the road. Maybe, you're at a rut and you don't really know how to bounce back. You don't really know how to persevere and to get up and to start your engine again, for lack of words. But when you are grateful for life and you're grateful for the opportunity to start over, the opportunity to get a start, the opportunity to be recognized, to have an opinion, you're grateful for the freedom that you have, then that is enough to help at least get you started. And then learning to connect with others around you, to build on that grit, to build on your passion, to build that motivation so that you can go on and to continue to persist and be great in your life is key. So with that said, I want to also share another article that I found on grit and gratitude. I thought it was pretty cool. It talks about how it's two different qualities that we need. So grit and gratitude, two qualities to benefit our well-being. This is by Vicki Enns. She talks about resilience and connection. Awesome. And the key points is that practicing gratitude, it can help reduce stress and increase hopefulness. That's what the research has shown us. Practicing grit, it can increase hope and help you to develop a growth mindset. So grit and gratitude together can create a synergy of flexibility and resilience. That's a powerful point she's made. I want to repeat that. Grit and gratitude can create a synergy of flexibility and resilience. So let's get into her article. So she says here, what promotes positive mental, emotional, physical, relational, and spiritual health? This can be sometimes a frustrating pursuit with confusion and contradictory messages of what we need to become more resilient and improve our overall well-being. Most of us already do many things in our daily lives in hope of staying or becoming healthier, right? So now she's going to talk about how she's going to build into her argument of gratitude and grittiness and how that's going to help with benefits. So let's just see in general, what are the benefits of having gratitude and being gritty? So first things first, she says it's a growing body of research, that's good, that highlights the benefits of what many of us have been taught as essential to well-being in this world, noticing what you're grateful for in life. Some of those positive impacts includes having a reduction in stress, depression, and hopelessness, improved sleep and overall mood, increased sense of motivation and agency in life, an expanded sense of positive self-esteem, improved relationships. Yes, I absolutely love being around optimistic people that limit their complaints, that they're just a good time. It's not weird. It's not cold. It's not wonky. It's not like walking on eggshells. It just flows. The vibe is good. They're just great people. They're just givers. They love people. And then when you're a giver and everybody's, just, I don't know, just in that awesome vibe and that synergy is going, there's nothing like it. So it talks about how that does improve relationships and a greater sense of appreciation for others. And then it says here, deepened sense of spirituality. There's also an increased creativity and openness and increased hopefulness. So that is what we get when we are having benefits of gratitude. Now let's hop on over to the benefits of grit. Great resilience in time. Great resilience in time. So it says, the benefits of grit. What do you rely on to get you through a tough day? What behavior, supports, or messages do you reach for to help you continue to show up and carry on? We all have patterns of coping, right? And it says in how we think, collaborate, or sustain ourselves when we face challenges. And so one of the qualities that we have, coined by Dr. Angela Duckworth, is grit. Each person's grit will look different, and it may be used to different degrees. So when we tap into our grit, some of the benefits for grittiness includes having an increased ability to persevere, an expanded response and ability to adapt to challenges, persistence to face our fears. Yes, because so many times you're going to have fears, whether it's fear of failure, fear of success, whatever, and you're going to need that persistence in order to persevere and to make it happen, in order to become unparalyzed by that fear, that anxiety. So let's keep going. It says growth in self-esteem and confidence, having an increased hopefulness, development of a growth mindset, increased likeliness of achieving positive change, long-term success and satisfaction. Excellent, which is true. Because if you're meeting those long-term goals, then you're having that long-term success and satisfaction. So it says here, your grit is fueled by what matters to you. That's what makes it. That's why it has to be tied to your passion. Because if you're not passionate about it, you might not want to have that persistence or that resilience that you need in order to persevere. So this is why we have to connect it to our students and help our students to connect their goals, their real life goals of what they were wanting to evolve into. We have to connect that to their passion so that they want to persevere in our classrooms. So then it asks us here, it says, do you have particular goals that you're pursuing? What do you care about or feel passionate about? So building grit and gratitude, it's now going to talk about how we can do this effectively. So it says, in some ways, These two qualities can seem somewhat contradictory because gratitude requires you to pause and relinquish our push for change and shift, right? Into noticing that there are positive things already in our lives, right? Grit allows you to keep moving and to notice and to confront what might be challenging or might feel negative in our lives, and it propels you into a more adaptable change. So I think that's very interesting. But I think, at the same time, when you have the positivity, it helps you to get started somewhere, versus like feeling like it's like completely caved in or completely empty, like rock bottom kind of thing. Like grit and gratitude tends to give you the optimism to keep moving forward. So let's keep reading here. So it says there's an interesting and symbiotic relationship between these two qualities, excuse me. It says, when I have a hard time accessing gratitude, it's my grit that I rely on to cope with the challenging situation. Or when I feel depleted and far from gritty, this is it. When I feel depleted and far from gritty, pausing to connect with gratitude, it refuels my hope and energy for perseverance. So, gratitude helps you when you have nothing else to be grateful for, or you feel like life has hit you like a ton of bricks. Then slow down enough to be grateful and to have gratitude to rekindle that hope and that energy so that you can persevere and be gritty. So, I think that's beautiful. Remember this sentence. So, whenever you feel depleted and far from gritty, pause to connect with gratitude and refuel your hope and energy for perseverance. Now, let's keep going. Here's some ways that we can access more of the benefits of grit and gratitude. First things first, observe it. Take a moment and name one thing that you're grateful for and one thing that helps you to persevere. What's helping you to persevere? What's one thing that you're grateful for? Then it says express it. Whether that's a journal, write it down, say it out loud, right? Make it a positive affirmation, draw it, sing it, build it, or sculpt it. Very nice. Make it a bit more tangible in some ways that, or making it a bit more tangible, it will help deepen its meaning and help you to absorb those benefits. And then it says you can also practice it. So choose a way to regularly practice the first two steps. And I think numbers 2 and 3 kind of go together if you consider your love language. So if you're grateful, but your love language is like you're a giver, then it would pay to maybe figure out how you can donate or how you can give back, how you can give up some of your talent, how you can, share your love, your energy, your expertise, by expressing it that way and by practicing it. And then, of course, here it says taking a small amount of time to consistently notice what already matters to you can greatly increase your mental, emotional, physical, relational, and spiritual well-being. Knowing what you're grateful for and what you find challenging about this allows you to tap into this powerful tension between gratitude and grit. Building on one helps fuel and nurture the other. So in the end, your well-being and relationships will be strengthened by tapping into these inherent qualities. Grit really is a good vibe, and I think that, as we continue to learn more about it and take more risks to become more gritty, we'll see for ourselves that it's definitely the way to go, and that you can only win through grit. And speaking of winning and being gritty, it reminds me of that dance that a lot of students are doing called the gritty. I know it's spelled different, but that's a winning dance. Many athletes do it as well. Celebrities do it. It's called the gritty, and they like shuffle back and forth. They're like it, they're celebrating. And I think that, when you have grit and you're teaching teachers or students or your team how to be gritty, you can also adapt the idea of having a winning mindset and being gritty, just like those have already that are gritty in their dance have modeled for us. So with that said, guys, thank you so much for joining me in the show today. I just really hope that you're able to get something out of this and that you can leave this with a good vibe, feeling better about yourself, challenging yourself to be more grateful and more gritty during this week and next week. and that you can even show some of that love to others. So thanks so much for joining me again on the Let's Get Gritty podcast with yours truly, Dr. India White. Again, this podcast will be featured on Swain Girl Media, hosted by Precious Swain, and it will be featured on Spotify. So thank you for listening. Thank you for following and sharing that with those around you. Also, check out my website whenever you get a chance, www.india-white.com. And let me know, do you need a book? Do you want to schedule me for an event? What do you need from me? And I will be there to help you. Also, social media again, Facebook is Miss India White. LinkedIn is The India White. Twitter is Indie Speak and Teach. Instagram is Indie238. YouTube channel is India White 123. And TikTok is Dr. India White. And Threads is Indie238. Check out the Grit Mini Workshop teachers. Check it out on the Grassroots Workshop. I think if you type in the word grit, you should be able to find it. The name of the workshop is How to Harness Grit to Help Students Thrive. I promise it will be a helper for you and it will help your class. So with that said, guys, thank you so much for joining me. And I hope to see many of you in Wisconsin and in the camps conference and anything in between. And so with that said, guys, thanks so much for joining me. And until next time, stay gritty.